Hey guys, it's Taylor. I'm here now. Sorry for the late start. Anybody there? Just get my hair looking good here. Sorry for the late start there. I was doing some showings for a rental that we have here. So there we go. All right. So we'll just wait another minute for folks to show up. Then we'll get going here. All right. So welcome aboard here. Just getting set up here. We'll just wait one more minute for folks to show, and then we'll get started. Hope you like my new setup here, though. My wife and I just moved like a month ago, so better internet now. So I'm very happy about that. Now we've got 100 down instead of like 3 down with the old internet provider that we had. Okay, so let's get going here. So today we're going to talk about the group by clause, and specifically two things that you need to know with the group by clause in order to master it, in order to be able to use it effectively. Okay, and there's one main scenario we're going to go over that you're going to find it most useful for, probably. And so we'll go through that, and then we'll move on along from there. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, so screen share. Here we go. Oops, not that one. Let me try that again. Okay, here we go. All right, so we're sharing the screen now. So let me know if you can't see this here. Okay, so this is the worksheet for today. If you're joining me live, then I'll gladly give you the link here for this. But we're going over the group by clause. The first thing I want to go over is that the group by clause and aggregate functions often go together. Okay, and it follows this format right here. So first off, the group by clause is to group your rows. Okay, so let's come over here. Let me show you an example. Okay, so here's our retailer database that we're used to. And let's say we select star from, what do we want to do? From employees, okay? If we run that, and we get these results down here, we see everything that's in our employees table, right? And we see a row for each person. Now, notice that there's this office code column here, which is designating which office each employee belongs to. And you see that there's multiple rows for a lot of these, right? So office code of 4 has 2 rows attached to it, 2 employees attached to it, and then actually 3. 7 has 2, so on and so forth. Okay, so if we do a group by clause on top of this here, and we'll need to change something a little bit here to make it work out. So let's just do office code. And we see now the office code for each of the employees, right? And so there's multiple for each office, usually. And so if we group by office code now, we run it, now we're just getting one row back for each different office code. Okay, so even though there's like 3 rows that are associated with this office code of 1, we're actually only seeing it once. So that's what the group by clause does. So coming back now to our worksheet here. There we go. Okay, so coming back to our worksheet here, the group by clause is often used with aggregate functions. Okay, so in this format here, you're going to select a column, and then you're going to have some aggregation, in this case, the count function. Then we're going to do from the table, we're going to group by the initial column that we were selecting in our select clause. Okay, so let's come back here, and let me show you what that looks like. So we've got office code, and then if we did just a count here from our employees table, and let's comment out our group by clause so it's not working here. We see there's 23 total employees here, right? Say we wanted to see something interesting like the total number of employees per each office. So we can do that by following the same format that we had here, column and then aggregation, group by that column. And so now we'll say we want office code and then our count function here. And then now we're going to group by that first column, which is office code. So when we run this, remember, we're going to get one row back for each office. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then now in this column here, I didn't designate an alias or a column name, but we're seeing the number of employees that belong to each of those offices. Okay, so I've got 6 for office 1, 2 for office 2, 2 for office 3, etc., etc. So hopefully you can see pretty straightforward there how useful that type of information is going to be. All right, so let's go ahead and do another example here. And let me just hop in here, make sure, see if anyone's mentioned about not being able to hear. Okay, good. Everybody can hear. Awesome. So let's do another example. Let's say we want to see the number of payments each customer has made, okay? So if we're working with payments, we know we're going to work with the payments table. And you might be wondering, well, we've got this format here of select a column, have aggregation, and then group by that initial column. How do we know which column is going to take this place right here, right? So if we're saying we want to know how many payments each customer has, when we say each customer, that each is really the keyword there that we're going to use this type of format here, this pattern. And so it's each customer, which means we're going to use the customer number right here. And then since we're using the customer number here in our select clause, we're going to need it also to be here in our group by clause. So we've got that set up, and then we've got count star, which is going to count the number of rows associated with each group, okay, with each customer number group. Let's run this, and we'll realize that I'm in the wrong table here. So now we need payments. Now we run it. There we go. Okay, so we see customer 103 has made 3 payments. Customer 112 has made 3 payments. 114 has made 4 payments, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's really useful information to know here. Let's do another example. So this time, let's work with orders. Let's say we want to see how many orders each product has been a part of. Okay, so to do this, let me repeat that again, what we're looking for. And in what I'm saying is the clues as to what columns and everything else we need to replace different parts in here in this pattern. Okay, so we want to know how many orders each product has been a part of. Okay, so once again, catch that there. Each product, so the product is going to be what we put here. And in this case, it's product code, not product itself, since we don't have a column named product. And since that's here in the select clause, we're also going to put that here in the group clause. And now when we're counting here, we'll count how many rows are in the table we're working with. And we see that the order number column is representative of each order, right? So we want to be using that. So we're going to use the order details table here. We'll run this, and so what will happen is that of all the rows in the order details table, they'll all be grouped so that there's one row for each product code. Okay, and then this count will be counting the number of overall rows from the order details table that have each product code. So here we go. We see the list of product codes here, and here is the total number of times or total number of orders that each of those products has been ordered. Okay, so there's another example there. Go ahead and throw any questions you might have in the comments. And I'm going to stop screen sharing for a second here so you can see my beautiful mug again, and so I can see if you all have any questions. So let's just see here if anybody's posting comment here. Okay, I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Feel free, though, if you are typing or thinking about a question, to go ahead and put that in, and I'll be glad to add that in and address it. So with that said, I want to now address the second main thing, which I want to go over in this webinar in regards to the group by clause. So let me see here. Let's screen share one more time. Application window. Okay, here we go again. So we talked about how the group by clause and aggregate functions often go together in this format here. And now we want to say that you need to use subqueries and CTEs to show columns you don't want to group by. Okay, that's sort of a mouthful. Let me just go over what this means, and then it'll make a lot more sense. So we'll come back here to our lovely sandbox. So we were just working with our order details table, which is great. Let's say, in addition to displaying this information here, and let's be nice and give ourselves a column name here. So we'll say num orders. Run it again. There we go. Same information. Now we have a column name. Say in addition to this, we also wanted to see the price of the product in each of those orders. Okay. So we'll add that in here, and let's add these on separate lines to make things clear. This time we want to say price each, right? If we run this, we'll actually get an error message. We'll look at it and it says column order details.price each is invalid in the select list because it is not contained in either an aggregate function or the group by clause. Sad face. All right. I hate this error. I hate this error so much. So what's happening here is each column that is in your select list has to either be in an aggregate function or it has to be in your group by clause. Simple as that. In this case, product code is in the group by clause. Count is an aggregate function. Price each, though, is not an aggregate function, and it's not in our group by clause. So what we could do then, you probably are thinking, well, let's just do this. Group by product code, then price each. Let's see what happens. So we don't get an error this time, but if you take a look here, have something interesting happening, which is we've got product code, this one, 1937, and it costs this much, 2 orders. But then the next row also is product code 241937, different price and 1 order. Okay, so we're not just getting 1 row back for each product code this time. In this case, like for 1937, we actually have 4 different, oh, no, there's more down here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so on and so forth rows for that product code. You might be wondering, well, why is that? So the reason for that is because we added the price each here to our group by clause. So when we group by product code alone, that means we're going to get 1 row back for each product code. When we're grouping by multiple columns, though, what that means is that we're going to get 1 row back, not just for each individual product code, but for each product code and price each combination. Okay, so we have 1 row for 1937 at $26.55. And we have another row for 1937 and $27.22 because the combination of the two is different in the price each column. And as a result, our aggregation is just counting the number of orders at that price for that product code, which is only 2 instead of the actual number, which I think is probably in the 20s for this product code. So in a situation like this, I mean, maybe this is what you would be looking for, right? You want to see how many orders at that price for each product code. But in our case, we're not trying to do that. We're just trying to display the price of each product and then the product code and the total number of orders, okay? And that price may not be representative of all the prices for all orders of that product code, but it's the general price, the first price that comes up, okay? So if you want to do that, then we have to separate this out, separate the group by combination with the aggregation into a subquery or into a CTE, a common table expression. I'll do the subquery here as the example for today. So what we need to do is let's go ahead and let's just get rid of some stuff. It'll be easier to see what's going on here. So we'll get rid of that so far, and we'll give this alias of OD, and now we're going to be joining what we're going to put here in our subquery, which is essentially what we had originally. We're going to select the product code and do a count from our order details table, same one as above, and then we're going to group by product code. Okay, so the subquery, if we ran it, we get results like we did originally, a list of each product code, and then the number of orders that that product was involved in. Okay, now we're going to do it inside of this derived table here, and we'll give this an alias of A. Okay, oops, outside. So now we have that. Now we're going to join the results of this derived table with the order details table out here. So we have to do on a.product code equals od.product code. Okay, so now we've got that here. And let's give this an alias as num orders again. So now that we have this information combined with this information, now we can grab num orders, right, from our derived table. And we could grab product code from our derived table here as well. Although to be honest, I mean, we could also grab it from this order details table, but we'll just grab it from A instead. And then this price each is not going to come from this derived table because remember, we only selected the aggregation and the product code. This has to come from our OD table. Okay, so there we go. Now when we run this, it's something very different. So now we see 1937 here. The price each that's displaying is $32.53, and the number of orders is 28. Okay, which is much more in line with what we're looking at. 28 is referring to the product code, not the combination of the product code and the price each. But we're displaying the price each just to display something there. All right, so that is what we wanted to go over here today. Let me zoom out here and show you this again. Okay, so you can use subqueries or CTEs. CTEs are just another way to do subqueries to show columns you don't want to group by. So in this case, we didn't want to group by the price each because that would have gotten us different aggregated results. So we pulled that into a derived table here, and then we just selected that third column from this outer table right there. Okay, so go ahead, and if you have any questions, let me know here in the comments. And let me get you the link here for this so that you can have that. And I'll stop sharing as well. And here I am again. So let me put this link here in the comments section of the webinar. Let's see. Why won't let me do this? Let's see. Still not working here. Okay. Well, if I can't get this to post, then I will email out a link to you all here for this here. Doesn't look like it's posting for me, so I'll have to figure that out. Okay, great. So that's the group by clause for today. We went over the general format with the aggregation and the group by clause, and then we also went over how you can separate it out into a subquery so that you can grab other columns as well. Once again, let me know if you have any questions. I can go over them now, or I can go over them later just in another blog post or email out to the group here. So that's it for today. Also wanted to go ahead and mention our main course. If you are looking for more information, if you're at the point where you're ready to apply for a job, or you're wanting to apply for a job but you don't feel confident in your SQL skills, or even if you're starting from scratch and you know you want to apply for a job or just learn SQL in general and you want some direction with that so that you can accomplish it within a quick amount of time, then I would go ahead and recommend you to our Ultimate SQL Querying package. If you haven't heard of it, it's our one-stop course for taking you from nothing to being very, very competent with your querying skills. That's going to include joins. It's going to include basic and complicated subqueries, derived tables, things of that nature. Your aggregate clauses, the different things you can do with your where clause, group by clause, having clause, order by clause, all of the clauses. And in that course, we have video lectures, over 50 video lectures, over 100 SQL challenges, like the one you see in our daily challenges and like the ones we went over tonight. And that's actually growing every day. We plan to be adding in at least twice as many challenges to that set, so you can get all of the practice you need to really master SQL. And then beyond that, last thing is we also offer 6 months of unlimited email coaching to students of our course. Anything that's within the scope of the course, whether it's actually in the course or it is something that has to do with the course, but maybe it's something for work or whatever, feel free to send us a message and we'd gladly help you through the issue. So all of that is available with our Ultimate SQL Querying package. I'll go ahead and send out an email with the link to the sales page for that course. And we'd love to have you take a look at it. If you feel it's a fit, then yeah, we'd love to see you on the inside. If you have any questions, feel free to mention it to us as well. All right, so that's it for today, and we'll see you guys next week. But that's it on the group by clause. I'll be sending it out an email with the link to the spreadsheet and also with a link to the Ultimate SQL Querying package too. All right, we'll see you guys.